I will now call the February 26, 2025 Historic Preservation Commission meeting to order. The agenda was posted in compliance with the open meeting law, and all members are in attendance with the exception of Member Davenport via teleconference, and Member May is absent. A quorum is established. Please join me in standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item is the initial public comment period. Public comments during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. Each person has up to 3 minutes to speak on a specific agenda item. The public may call 702-589-9629 to provide public comments. Seeing no one, we will close the first public comment period. Next is agenda item number 1 for possible action. Approval of the minutes of the January 22nd, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion for approval?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion is approved unanimously.
I just want to say thank you to staff. There was quite a bit at last meeting and capturing it all down. You guys did a fantastic job.
You did. Next is agenda item number 2 for possible action, discussion regarding activities for the Historic Preservation Day and awards for 2025. Staff, your report?
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. So this is the opportunity for the Commission to continue the discussion and planning for Historic Preservation Day. A couple of things I wanted to note that we include in the staff report. So normally, because of the schedule for the utility mailers, this is the meeting when you would normally have to finalize the agenda activities. But what we're proposing is that instead of the usual process of finalizing the activities today, so it can go into the April utility mailer, that you would have an opportunity to continue discussions through next month into March. And what would go into the next utility mailer would actually be a save the date. So it wouldn't have specifics. We put a example in the packet that came from Commissioner May. There would be a QR code that would link to the city's website. So it would get people to start thinking about Historic Preservation Day. Commissioner May is also proposing as a new option this year to have students create the flyer after you finalize all of the activities, which we would button up at next month's meeting. So this would give the Commission more time to plan and to finalize the activities. It would have a kind of creative element of having children also be involved in creation of the flyer, which we then get out into social media. So I wanted to preface that. In addition to that, what Commissioner May is proposing is that we incorporate children into Historic Preservation Day by having them create banners. Several historic properties would be identified, and the children would create banners, the images. Then the children would vote on those banners, and the top banners would actually be displayed in our historic district. So that gives recognition to the children. They're thinking about historic preservation. It's another way to celebrate Historic Preservation Day and Historic Preservation Month. So you've got that material and the summary of that in there as well. We also have in the staff report what everyone committed to looking into from last month. So what I would suggest is maybe each of the commission members kind of report out on what you researched from last month's meeting and work on further confirmation of the activities for tonight, and then provide feedback on the concept of the flyers, both the save the date and the children designed one. And then if you could provide us feedback on Commissioner May's idea regarding the banner program with the kids.
This one is just.
Yeah, this would just be discussion, and
Oh.
so.
Well, I like the idea that May has, because I think that it's great to get children involved in our
Absolutely.
Historic Preservation Day. So I think that's a wonderful idea, and especially in art, because now, is it a banner or is it a flag project?
It refers to flag, but in reality it would be a banner. So we've
Okay.
got the historic preservation banners up on all the street lights in the historic district now. So we would then temporarily replace those banners with the children's selected banners.
Well, that's a cute idea, I think.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I think that's a fantastic idea. It's a great way to get more community involvement, which is something I know we've been talking about on this commission for several years. So I think that's a fantastic idea.
Does anybody have anything to report on their part that they were going to do?
I do.
Mhm.
I talked to the Dan
You have to
Rose.
speak right into that mic, I'm sorry.
Is it on?
It's on, but it's really, literally have to speak right, you can't turn your head and talk.
Okay. I spoke to the girls at the Dam Roast House, and they are very excited. They would like to participate. I think they're going to go with, Browder's was the first library in Boulder City, so they're going to do that theme.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So we need to give them more information. To what time, what their time space is. So who do I have them contact?
Well, that would be, the commission can discuss that right now as to, and you can look to last year's banner flyer for guidance. What we did as a commission last year is scheduled various events at different locations that gave enough time for people to attend all of them, or whichever ones they were interested in. So you can discuss, have further discussion on where the award would be announced, where the banner selections would be announced, I presume the same location, and a place that could accommodate, the folks, so indoors or outdoors. I know that there was discussion about having the event at the historic water filtration plant and potentially a tour of the plant. We're still working with Public Works to confirm that the plant will be accessible on Historic Preservation Day, and we would certainly have that confirmed by next month, so you could finalize it at that time. But I think you have Browder's as another venue. You could start there with some type of activity tied to that being the first library, and maybe have somebody speak on the first library that would be knowledgeable, and then move to another venue. So that's up to the commission.
Was that library you talking about, was that the one that was at the senior center at one time? Was that was once a library?
If it was in the Browder location, or if Browder's just were the original operators of a library.
So you're correct that the senior center is the former library for Boulder City. But back during the federal days, I believe the Browder building was a library. So this is even before the city was incorporated.
Oh, okay, that would be great then. When will we find out whether we can use the water filtration building?
By next month. So we will be able to report that to the commission at next month's meeting.
Do you have anything that you wanted to report on? You're right here on.
No, we're all set. We're ready to go. All we need to know is what time frame you want the presentation, if you want the presentation. But the individual giving that presentation is going to be doing one very similar for our open house in 2 weeks. So he'll have all the material down, ready to go. We'll have some of the pieces already out to display. All we need to know is the time frame.
Will he be doing the presentation at the,
At the museum.
at the museum? Okay. Okay, just, I guess, figure out what time
Just kind of follow this format of last year.
of last year.
Yeah. What you'll need to do, though, is figure out where your welcome reception area is going to be.
Well, we can't find out until next month, so we
So
don't know
this
that
isn't,
yet.
this isn't necessarily something we have to decide today. But yes, we'll want to figure out where the slots are. I did bring up at the previous meeting and would reiterate again, the museum has been the start location for the last two. And, you know, we're happy to have everybody, but we do believe that it should be spread around the community and everybody should have a opportunity to be a part of this. So I request the commission kind of use us as an option of last resort so that other institutions in the community have greater visibility and participation.
Okay, well, I spoke with Julie Connell, and she is the teacher at ABC Park in the clay department they have, where they do different clay works, and she said that she would love to do a presentation on how to make historic tiles. And she would like to do it at the ABC Park so that the community will even know that we have a art center at the ABC Park. And she's even willing, if there's enough participants, to hold classes so that people can go and make as many tiles as they need to make for their home. And she would like it to be between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m., her presentation.
I have no objections to that. I think it's just going to be a matter of where everything else fits in. And I don't know that we're necessarily prepared to do that today, especially with Member May out. She's got a lot of irons in the fire, and I think she's going to be kind of critical in throwing this agenda together as far as timing.
What time did we start last time?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. See, yeah, that's, I think, one
Should
between,
start with a welcome reception, some light refreshments that staff provides, and then jump into the activities, presentations, whatever we have planned.
okay, well, if we can accommodate her between 1 and 2, being that she's giving us this much notice, I think we should try, being that she's doing this as a volunteer, and she's going to be, it is something that I think is crucial for people who have that historic tile and they can't find it, or they can't, I mean, I know there's places around the United States that you can buy the tile, but when you only need 1 or 2, that's going to be difficult to get. So I think it's a great resource for us to be able to have someone that's willing to teach people how to make those tiles for their homes.
So certainly you don't have to have these consecutive. They can be spread out throughout the day.
Yeah,
Perhaps with Browder Books offering to have an event there, maybe you start there in the morning because you've got the coffee shop there.
that's a good idea.
And whether it's the Southern Nevada Railroad Museum in the middle, or you go to the water filtration plant in the middle of the morning, and then you finish with the Boulder City Company store. I'm sorry, ABC Park at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And so certainly that would be plenty of activities for people, and especially if you've got the tile demonstration that's kid-focused, and if that was the intent.
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because it's, we have these historic homes that have this, the tile, that's the black tile, and usually there's going to be pink or yellow. And those tiles and those colors are hard to find now. And so that would probably be something that would be more geared towards adults that want to renovate their homes and make them look historic and keep that beautiful historic tile work in their bathrooms and kitchens.
Okay.
So I think it would be more adult oriented.
So perhaps the child-focused event, which would be in mid-morning, if it can be at the historic water filtration plant, that's one option, and that could be where the Historic Preservation Award is announced by the commission, and you would have the recipient there, and you would also announce the winners of the children's banner program, all at that venue. But in case the historic water filtration plant is not going to be ready, the commission should probably have a backup venue.
We should also have something for the kids to do.
At the coffee shop,
They will?
they're going to have crafts for them.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, and I think that Commissioner May also committed to having children's activities wherever the venue is. I'm just suggesting that with the historic water filtration plant, if that's not open, certainly we could accommodate everybody outside, but you may want to consider another venue just in case.
Does anybody have any ideas of a just-in-case venue?
And that's what I'm saying about the museum, is like if we can't find somewhere else, we can certainly do it. I just want to give other people in the community the opportunity first.
Okay.
And I suggest that we start at 9 rather than 8. It's a Saturday, everybody wants to sleep in. I know it was hard for me to make it at 8.
I like 9 o'clock too.
So 9 o'clock Browder Bookstore to 10 o'clock. 10 to 11:30, either at the Historic Water Filtration Plant or the Southern Nevada Railroad Museum. And then the tile demonstration at 1 o'clock at ABC Park.
That sounds great.
Hey, everybody, this is Blair. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. All of these are excellent ideas, and I support all of them. The times sound great too, the venues. I just wanted to ask or let you know that I have some information, historic information on the Browder building, along with some photographs, and including information about Ida Browder was one of the first to gather up books and create a quote-unquote library there. So I guess what I'm wondering is, who would I give that information to? Or do we do what we've done in the past, like some kind of a poster that kind of outlines that? Or like what? And I wasn't sure who was the contact for the Browder. I can work with that person so that, it's just one person talking to the Browder folks.
I have their phone number.
I'm sorry, who's I?
Dawn.
Dawn, okay, thanks, Dawn. Then is it okay if I give you that information to pass along, or?
Yes, should we contact each other after the meeting?
I'm fine with that if the city's fine with it.
It needs to go through staff.
Yeah, just
Okay.
send everything to me and I can funnel it
Okay,
to the
because I don't want to give her
appropriate
phone
person.
number out over
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. So, okay, I will send my historic information to staff, and then they can create the poster, or do I create the poster, or do I need to find out first if they want a poster? How do we want to do that?
I think probably with Chair Davenport reaching out to the Browder folks to ask if they're interested in the poster. If they are, and if you can share that information with Nikisha and I, then we can have staff prepare the poster.
That is if they want the poster, because they may
Correct.
have their own presentation or
Right.
information they want to share, and that's what I'm kind of curious
Yep.
if that's on their agenda.
I think this is the first time for them to do anything, so they're open for suggestions and guidance.
Oh, good, okay. I'll see what I can come up with, and I'll get that to staff, and we'll go from there.
Does anybody else have any ideas? Okay, so then I guess we'll move on to the next.
Well, if I could get just clarification that
Oh.
there's consensus from the commission on moving forward with the save the date flyer that was in your packet. We don't need a vote, but if everyone's in agreement with that, then staff will move forward and make sure that's in the next utility mailer. And it sounds like everyone is in supportive of Commissioner May's recommendations, both on having the children prepare the final flyer that will get out to the community through social media and other means, and having the banner kids program and announce the winners of that banner program at HPC Day.
Yes.
Yep, I am.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Question, so the banner the winner would already have been chosen, and would the banner already be up then?
Well, if the banners are put up before that day, then I guess there's no surprise as to who was selected. So certainly, I can talk to Commissioner May about what she's envisioning, and she can report out next month
Okay.
exactly the sequence of events. But the intent would be certainly to get the banners up soon afterward.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think I read on there that it was going to be, they were going to select the top 40 banners, and then those were going to be displayed downtown, and then out of those top 40, one of them's going to win. So we probably wouldn't know people would not know who's going to win until the day of.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. Am I right?
Yeah. So, I mean, certainly we'll finalize the sequence of the events for
Okay.
next month. But yeah, in that case, then they could be up for the entire month of May.
I have extra information, I guess, or questions. I like the idea of the water filtration plant being part of the day. And just, I guess, to consider that even if people can't get inside of it, should we consider continuing to use the area, outside? But that would be pending, the weather. And I guess I'm thinking that if the weather's not so great, then the Railroad Museum would potentially be an alternative. Does that sound like an option?
Yeah, this is Christopher Blair. That's exactly what we're talking about, is the water filtration plant would be the first objective, and if it's not just going to be possible, then the Railroad Museum would step in as the backup.
Perfect, great. Thank you for the clarification.
All right. Well, staff has clear direction, so if there's nothing else, you can move on to the next agenda item.
Next is Agenda Item 3, updates on implementation of the Commission's goals and priorities. Staff, your report.
So this is a monthly agenda item where we provide any updates in bold on the commission's goals, which also are the goals in the historic preservation plan that was adopted by the city council, and we can answer any questions.
Any commission questions?
None.
This is sort of a roundabout question to one of the goals regarding public outreach, but it really goes with the last agenda item, and that is, did we get any award nominations yet?
Yes, this is Nikisha. Yes, we have received 4 property nominations altogether, and then 5 individual nominations from folks on those properties.
Awesome, thank you.
When do we get to know who's been nominated?
Yeah, at the next meeting.
At the next meeting.
Will we have time to go and look at the houses, the nominations?
The week before, once the agenda packet is out, yes.
Okay. Any more questions? Next is agenda item number 4 for possible action, discussion, and updates on the status of properties in the historic district or other potential eligible properties. Staff report.
So in your packet, you have the attachment which summarizes activities within the historic district. One thing I did want to note that occurred since the report went out. 501 Avenue I, which was the certificate of appropriateness that was before the commission last month, appealed the commission's decision, and that was going to be heard at last night's city council meeting. However, the applicant withdrew their appeal. So that is now done. And so in addition to that, you have in your packet a detailed review from the Public Works Department on the status of the historic water filtration plant improvements. And so can answer any questions.
This is Blair. I have a question about the property owner at 501. If they withdrew the appeal, what is then the next options for them?
Well, it's my understanding they withdrew the appeal because they are no longer interested in moving forward with the block wall. So
Okay.
that ends that consideration.
Does that mean they also withdrew the building permit?
Well, yeah, they're not moving forward with the wall, so there wouldn't be a building permit issued. And there wouldn't be a building permit issued because they don't have a certificate of appropriateness, so.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Next is agenda item number 5 for possible action, commission's discussion regarding potential agenda items for upcoming Historic Preservation Commission meeting. Now is the time for the commission to identify possible future agenda items.
This is Blair. I have one. Was curious if we could get an update from Courtney regarding her nomination for the historic airport.
Yes.
Any other commission questions? Okay. Now is the final public comment period for the evening. The public may call 702-589-9629 to provide public comments. Each person has up to 3 minutes to speak on any item.
My name is Robin Baker. It's nice to see all of you. I sent you a letter earlier this week with 3 concerns. So the first thing is the Bureau of Reclamation. I'm still trying to find out what is happening from anybody's perspective, whether it is the federal perspective, the state perspective, or the local. At this time, I have not, other than neighborhood gossip, had any information from a reliable source. And I have kind of made up my mind that I will continue to persist in this because there has to be someone in a position of authority who would like to at least mitigate the issues that have arisen with the xeriscaping problem. I also, at some point in time, would like to know who to talk to. You know, when no one at the city responds who to talk to, no one at the federal government responds who to talk to, I am left with neighborhood gossip. So, and I would prefer to have a conduit where I could at least be told a definite no, this is never going to be done, or yeah, we're considering it, and maybe we're going to move forward with A, B, or C. So that would be extremely helpful. And I don't think I'm the only person in town who is hoping that there is a plan to do something. Number 2, in the letter I wrote you, and I need to apologize for the grammatical errors. I did not read it a third time, and when I did read it, I thought, holy cow, so I apologize for that. But number 2 was if you would just research about an urban heat effect. It's also called a heat island effect. There are health issues, there are environmental issues that are related to it that I think are relevant to your commission, and I think impact the historic district significantly. Also in the letter, I noted that I had read the law that about the xeriscaping, that set in action the xeriscaping plan. And if we are truly a historic district, as cited by the Forest Service award, then I'm wondering if we are, if the federal laws really do apply to the Boulder City Historic District. As of yet, I haven't had a response on that, but that one I may actually get a response on because it's something that's very black and white, that someone has an idea of yes, it does apply, or no, it does not apply. Then the last thing I continue to ask is who is actively advocating for Boulder City, the historic district? Who actively watches what's going on and says, and I'm still a property owner of more than one property in Boulder City, no one ever says to me, hey, this is what that house looked like in 1930 or 1940 or whatever time you want us to move it back to, have you thought about? And I wonder, because we did go through the historic preservation procedure with the Colorado Street House, and the guidelines are very narrow. It's just to, if you're standing in front of the front door and you look to the left and you look to the right, I'll finish up. You need to make it look appropriate. So if there was more of an explanation to include the landscape, I also think that would possibly have been a solution for the Bureau of Reclamation project. But anyway, thank you for your time, and I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing all of you next month.
Is there any other public comments? Hearing no one else, we will call the final public comment period. This meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
you
Have a
later.
good night.